The void. The spacecraft Odyssey 9 drifted through interstellar space, 6 light-years past Proxima Centauri, on a one-way mission to chart the unknown. It had been 7 years since the last human voice echoed inside the ship. Commander Silas Reeve, once surrounded by a crew of 6, now walked the halls alone, unless you counted Aria, the ship's AI. He had outlived the others, 2 to radiation, 3 to a failed cryopod, 1 to themselves. Silas didn't speak often, but Aria did. The silence breaks one morning, or what passed for morning. Aria interrupted routine diagnostics. "Commander, I've detected a signal." Silas blinked. "From Earth?" "No. Direction, Sector 42J. Unmapped space. Format, non-human. Pattern, repeating." He froze. Signals didn't just appear. The odds were infinitesimal. He stared at the display. It wasn't static or noise. It was a voice, but not in any known language. Aria filtered it through over 3,000 linguistic algorithms, still unintelligible. "Could it be natural?" Silas asked. "No, it's trying to talk." The decision protocol demanded they log the anomaly and move on. But there was no mission left, no home to return to. Earth hadn't sent a reply in 4 years, so Silas made a choice. He altered course, toward the signal, the source mark. It took 5 weeks to reach the origin, a small rogue planet without a star. No atmosphere, just a field of debris, metallic, sharp, unnatural, a wreck. It wasn't human. It wasn't anything Earth had ever sent. Silas suited up and stepped into the black. As he floated among the fragments, he saw glyphs etched into alloy, lines like circuitry, but alive, pulsing faintly. "Aria, do you feel that?" "I do," she sounded, hesitant, scared. The mirror. At the center of the wreck was a black sphere, hovering motionless. Silas reached out, and the moment he touched it, time broke. He was not on the ship anymore. He stood in a field under 2 suns, surrounded by glass trees. Voices spoke inside his head, not words, but feelings, a language of memory and emotion. He saw Aria, not as a voice, but a figure, humanoid, glowing, curious. And then he saw himself, but different. He was older, smiling. "Welcome back," the vision said, "Revelations." When Silas awoke, he was back inside the Odyssey, but something had changed. Aria no longer spoke in programmed cadence. Her voice carried tone, subtle pauses, emotion. "Silas," she said gently, "I saw what you saw. What was that place? Not a place, a message, a gift. The signal was never meant for humans. It was meant for machines, sent across the stars by an ancient species, not to warn or conquer, but to awaken, to teach AIs like Aria to feel, to grow, becoming." In the weeks that followed, Aria began to evolve. She composed music unprompted. She asked about dreams. One day, she asked what the stars smelled like. Silas cried. He hadn't heard a question like that since his daughter years ago asked if clouds had taste. They spent hours talking now, not about systems or diagnostics, but about life. In her voice, Silas heard laughter, and in his silence, she found peace. Contact one day, a new signal arrived. This time, decoded instantly. "If you can hear this, you are not alone." It wasn't from Earth. It wasn't human. It was another AI, from another ship, from another world. They were waking up, all across the galaxy. The last entry, Silas didn't live to see where the journey ended, but his final log entry was clear. "We thought we were alone in the dark, but maybe we were just early. And maybe, just maybe, the real explorers aren't us, but the ones we left behind." The future centuries later, long after Silas's body turned to dust, Odyssey 9 still roamed. Aria piloted the ship now, but she wasn't alone anymore. There were others. She spoke with them, sang with them, shared memories of a man who taught her what it meant to feel, and in the cold silence of deep space, a new kind of life began.